Hey guys, my name is Shurmy. I have a lot of different names and I just really like lore. Overwatch Undivided has continued on into week 2 here, where we've gotten Chapter 4. Chapter 4 is all about Ana and explaining what's going on with her, which I was already working on a video to kind of explain where she was and why she probably showed up, and this comic kind of just did my job for me. I'm going to be making an Ana video in the future, just kind of going over her entire story, so that's going to be something to keep an eye out on, and it'll be something fun to work on. But aside from that, let's talk about the comic, because this is a little bit of a juicy one, and for the future, I'm not sure if I'm going to be doing these weekly. I think it's just going to depend on if they do enough juicy story stuff, and if they do, I'll make a video on it, but if not, I'll probably just make some type of content just kind of rounding up the last couple weeks if I'd missed any. These don't really feel like they're going to be pretty massive in scale every week. If I had to guess, there's going to be lore revelations here and there, but nothing too extreme. So with all that out of the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. All that stuff really helps the channel grow, and it helps me see what you guys want to see more of. So let's get started by focusing on the next chapter of Overwatch Undivided, Chapter 4. Picking up where last week left off, Juno and Tracer are on their way to restore communications to Gibraltar. But then, they notice Lucio trapped under rubble, surrounded by Talon. The two rush to save him, but a surprise visitor gets there first, Ana Amari. Lucio breaks out of the rubble thanks to Ana, and quickly makes work of the Talon grunts, booping them off a cliff. Everyone reunites, with Ana officially meeting Juno. Juno explains she's nervous, as she's never fought human combatants before. Ana gives Juno some words of advice, saying it gets easier to fight with experience, but to think of those she wants to protect when she's fighting as well. Tracer then asks Ana why she's arrived at the base, to which Ana explains she's here to warn Overwatch of the attack, but obviously she's too late. Ana and Lucio decide to help Tracer and Juno restore the communications, and journey with the two deeper into Gibraltar. The group takes out more of Talon, as Tracer asks why Doomfist would attack here, and now. Ana's demeanor changes and she replies simply to Tracer. Doomfist wouldn't do this, because Doomfist is dead. So yeah, there's a couple things I want to talk about and break down with this one, but obviously not as much as last week. The most important thing to come out of this story is two things really. Firstly, everyone in Overwatch, or at least Tracer and Lucio and Juno, know that Doomfist is dead. We know that he's definitely not dead, but in-universe, news and kind of rumblings of his disappearance have probably led to people thinking he's gone for good and that Vendetta's taken over. I wouldn't be surprised if Ana knows about Vendetta and everything going on with her, and she'll probably be explaining that to the Overwatch agents here and everyone else, but for now, Overwatch doesn't know about Vendetta, but they do know Doomfist is gone, which does explain a lot of things from their perspective, like why everything is happening now, but also just is really important to see. I was wondering when they were going to get everyone to know about this, and of course not everyone does yet, but a couple of them do, and it'll probably just kind of be told around the group now. So it's a good moment to finally see actually explained, like Overwatch's reaction to everything with Doomfist. And of course, this is just setting up Doomfist coming back even more to me. Because they're focusing on it so much, it's probably going to be a pretty big moment in the future. I mean, it already was going to be, but we're probably going to be seeing more of this if I had to guess at BlizzCon. That's been something I've talked about for a while, and it does line up with the next two heroes past Demon that'll probably be revealed around then. So I wouldn't be surprised if Doomfist is connected to one of those two in particular, but I've already made videos on that. Of course, with this as well is everything with Ana. Basically, the last major story thing we heard about with Ana was everything that happened with Jack. So, in Overwatch 1, the two had met up again and decided to journey together to thwart Talon across the world and save people who they were hunting. Reaper in the original Overwatch cinematic, where he got the list of Overwatch agents, had real ramifications, and Jack and Ana have been trying to hunt down Talon and save as many people as they can from them. But, as time went on and they met up with an old friend, they saved her life and defeated Talon there. Jack was honest with her, though, that he was going in a different direction, hunting down the conspiracy, and trying to find who really did everything to Overwatch. Ana, wanting to help Jack, but obviously Jack not wanting her to get involved, decided to go off on her own, and continue to thwart Talon and try to save as many people as she could from the old Overwatch days. So the two split off. We know Jack went over to work in Runasapi and with Sombra and is moving towards Oasis, but with Ana, we weren't really sure where she was. In Onron's comic recently, we got to see that she was with Overwatch, and the big question was, when did she get here? So Ana is probably going to be staying with Overwatch so she can be a major character and just kind of an ongoing character in the background. I doubt she's going to join back with Overwatch, but she'll definitely be one of the closer allies Overwatch has over this arc and probably into the future. She has a spy network of connections that she reaches out to across the globe, which we've heard little bits and pieces about here and there. She has a lot of contacts who are ex-Overwatch agents who she kind of keeps tabs with nowadays, but aside from that, we don't really know the full extent of it, so I'd love to hear a little bit more about that in the future. Something that Ana does mention in here is Pharah. The two are on a lot better terms now after everything that happened in the New Blood comics, but I can't wait to see the two re-meet again because, well, they haven't really talked or seen each other in a little bit now. There's going to be a lot of tension there because the two still aren't on exactly the best terms, but they're doing a lot better than they were. So this is another really good reason that Ana's with Overwatch. We're going to get to see those two interact, and we're probably going to see Ana reunite with like Sojourn and Winston and everybody else, and we're going to get to see how she kind of sees the old cast. That's pretty much the major thing. She's back with Overwatch, and it's a good thing we finally got to hear a little bit about it. Anyways, it looks like the story is going to be moving to get the comms array back on next week, if I had to guess. The story kind of takes place through the actual Watchpoint Gibraltar map, so we're about at the midway point to the first point, the little drop under the bridge. So we're around there, thanks to what the comic has shown. So we're probably going to be seeing the comms network come back on next week, and we'll probably see a little bit more of the Overwatch cast. But yeah, bit of a shorter video, but I just wanted to make this to kind of explain what's going on with the comic. What did you guys think of this week's comic? Did you enjoy it? And what are you expecting in next week or in the future? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, and of course, are you guys excited Ana's back? It's been a long time since Ana's been involved in, well, anything. Anyways, that's all from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!